All right, a lot of the word problems in 7.1 and 7.3 involve bearing. And if you're in my spring 2020 class, we skipped that topic this semester. And so do make sure that you're looking on Canvas. Where you link to these videos, I have a note about which homework problems involve bearing and those you're allowed to skip. Okay? But there are a few problems that are word problems that don't involve bearing. And so I've just picked one of the even numbered problems from your text so that we can work through this. Okay? So we've got points x and y are on opposite sides of a ravine. So here's my ravine, and there's x, and there's y. Okay. And then we're told that from a third point z, the angle between the lines of sight to x and y is 37.7 degrees. So if I put a point z here, there's my line of sight to x, there's my line of sight to y, and we're being told that that angle is 37.7 degrees. And then we're told that xz, so that would be the side length connecting these points, that's 153 meters. And yz, that's the length connecting these points, is 103 meters. And we're asked to find xy. Well, that would be this side right here. Okay. So that's what I want to try to figure out. Okay. So notice what I've got is two sides and the angle between them. We're going to use law of cosines. And I would tell you that if this were on an exam, I would tell you to find this using law of cosines. So what I'd like you to do, if we've got our picture now, notice instead of labeling things A, B, and C, I've labeled things X, Y, and Z. What I might do is I think I'm going to actually just label this side as little z, because it's opposite side C. I'm going to label this side as little y. I'm going to label this side as little x, because it's opposite those angles. And I'm just going to adjust in the law of cosines and use x's, y's, and z's instead of a's, b's, and c's. Now, if you prefer, you could rename all of the points A, B, and C so that you can use the version of the formula that's in your text. Totally up to you, but what I'd like you to do is pause the video, try to solve for this third side right here, include the units, and round to the correct number of significant digits. Then check back in. Welcome back. Okay. So like I said, we're going to be using law of cosines. I'm looking for side z, so z is the one that's singled out. So z squared would equal the sum of the other two, so x squared plus y squared, minus 2 times x times y times cosine of the angle at z. Okay. All right, so I'm going to just plug in what I know. So x squared, that's going to be 103 squared, plus y squared is 153 squared, minus 2 times x is 103, times y is 153, times cosine of z, where we were told was angle z was angle z was 37.7 degrees. So cosine of 37.7 degrees. That's going to give me z squared. Let's go ahead and grab a calculator here. Make sure the calculator's in degree mode. And then 103 squared plus 153 squared minus 2 times 103 times 153 times cosine of 37.7 degrees. And that's equal to 9.080 blah, 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 blah. Okay. Z is the square root of this thing. So with that number still in my calculator, I'm going to just hit square root of the answer. And when I do that, I get z is 95.2901 blah, blah, blah. Let's see. For significant digits, this was 3, this was 3, this was 3. So it looks like we're rounding to 3 significant digits. Okay. So, oops, where was my decimal? The decimal was right here. I'm sorry. So that's going to be to this place. I look to the next digit. That's 5 or more, so I'm going to round up. So I would say this is about 95.3. And if it's a side length and the other side lengths were in meters, then the units for that are going to be meters. All right, good stuff. I should just mention in 7.1 and 7.3, particularly in 7.1, I think there's some formulas for the area of a triangle. You'll notice I didn't go over that in these videos. I didn't assign any homework on that. So that was something we weren't planning to cover from the beginning. You are just responsible on the exam for law of sines and law of cosines. Okay. And again, I will help you out by telling you which rule you need to use when, but you are responsible for knowing what those laws are and knowing how to use them.